Welcome to the Mammoth Gamescast for the week of June 10th. I am one of your hosts, Night Swarm, and with me, as always, Filtercord.
How's it going?
It is going, man. Episode 100.
Episode 100.
So, how do you want to start this? What's the proceedings here?
I don't know. I mean, we've definitely been. I think we probably just because of all the E3 stuff, and we've been playing more stuff. Like we've been playing Borderlands, which we're going to talk about. We've been doing a lot more like activities, I guess.
Yeah.
So we were planning on getting a bunch of stuff launched on the back end, like making a website. We have the Patreon, but we're not really doing anything with it yet.
I mean, all of the building blocks are in motion or something like
right.
this.
But yeah. we were planning on being a little quicker on it, but we've just been doing so much other stuff that.
Yeah. And it's mostly like everything is in my mind. Everything's pretty much complete. But it's all just like the side things of like, okay, how does that get published? It's stuff that stuff that I've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's a little new ground for us. So, but we do have a bunch of really good art. I'm working with a local artist here I'm going to be working with a local artist to do some custom designs for some merchandise.
Cool.
I've contacted them, and I imagine I'll hear back probably Monday when they get back in office for a sit down. Hopefully I'll be able to do that Wednesday. And it'll give me a little time to make sure I can modify my designs to fit their shirt templates, because I have all the designs now. It's just about cutting it out to like fit shirt templates or like even stickers, like laptop stickers and stuff like that. So
cool.
Some cool stuff that we're working on. The website is complete. Now we just need to get the final little pieces in place for that. Patreon is up and running. I don't think there's anything more we need to do with that. But it's just one of those things. Might as well wait for the website.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we've been kind of doing on the back end.
Yeah.
So not a lot of significant changes to format or anything yet, but probably post E3 we'll be looking at doing some improvements and rearranging a little bit.
I would say probably across this next month we'll see some heavy movement.
Yep. So I guess we'll dive into kind of what we've been playing. I already teased Borderlands a little bit, so that's our transition between the two. But other than that, I did finally actually beat a full campaign playthrough of Total War 3 Kingdoms.
Okay.
I'm playing on easy mode because I ain't no bitch. I'm trying to play, not trying to like be the strategic mastermind that actually unified China. So basically I had kind of been playing around with a couple new, there's like the default like tutorial character that they want you to play as, which is Cao Cao. I checked out Liu Bei, which is pretty cool, but he's kind of like, I'm not super into his play style, which is like just kind of like bumble around the map and pick up former Imperial territory.
Mm-hmm.
So like he ends up having like a really like spread out like non-homogeneous territory. So like he'll have maybe like 2 commanderies in like northeast China, and then another big section in like central east, and then another section down in the south. And it's like I like to have my empire all be contiguous because I want to be able to defend my fucking borders. And especially when you start getting into late game, it's so difficult to have, like, from the halfway point of the game, basically, if you have a big spread out empire that's not well defended, you will just get annihilated. Like, it's so difficult to maintain all that. And then the advantage is that he's a really powerful trader. So, like, he can, like, when you set up trade agreements, you have to share a border with another faction to be able to have a trade agreement with them. So basically, like, you have to be able to get your, like, carts to their territory.
Yeah.
So, like, he ends up being able to have a lot of, like, powerful trade partners because he can just be next to everybody. Like, whereas, the character I ended up beating the game with, I went and played as Sun Jian, which is he's the guy that's called like the Lion of the South. I think I mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm.
So like with him, you are basically like he's like a vicious expansionist. So he constantly wants to like he's supposed to be in battle all the time because like his extra resource is like it's like battle honor or something like that. So like the more that you get into combat, you get these huge military bonuses of like you replenish troops faster, troops are cheaper, it's easier to maintain people. You get more military supplies when enemy territory and shit. So like, and they're showing them on the screen right now, Sun Jian. You just like roll up these huge armies that are like way cheaper for you to have these armies than any other like faction. And then you just roll out and just like fucking envelop enemy territory. So, with him, I got to a really interesting part of the game where the other two, like you hit a period once you get big and powerful enough and there's enough alliances and, there's sort of like empire points that are kind of invisible in the main game. You just have to like, you can see them raising, but you don't know what gives them to you and in what amount. Once you get to a certain point, you hit the 3 kingdom period where your group and the 2 other most powerful groups all declare themselves king of China. And then you have these 3 kingdoms that are facing off against each other. And the only way to win the game is to eliminate the other 2 kingdoms, and then you declare yourself emperor and win. So I got to the point where it was just me and my one other enemy, which was this guy in the north that's capable of making really powerful like alliances, basically, is his advantage. Like people want to be in alliances with him. And I just could not fucking get these guys to submit because they were like super militarized and super warlike, just like me.
Yeah.
But the difference is that I have to maintain all of my armies myself. So like I had 7, 8 commanders, something like that. Yeah, I think I had 8 commanders. So I have to pay for the upkeep of all 8 commanders, and each commander has 2 sub-commanders, like generals that I have to maintain. And then each of them, all 3 of them, all have 6 units under their, like, part of their posse or whatever. So, like, I'm spending out the ass. That was my biggest, like, easily my largest expense was maintaining these fucking troops.
Yeah.
And I had to constantly, like, I would build up these armies, get them in full position, and then just, like, move them in a line and just take enemy territory. But this dude that I was facing had a bunch of vassals, so they're, like, allied states that are sort of under him, but they're independent and they're allowed to do whatever they want. So each one of them would have, like, 2 or 3 commanders. And then me alone is having to compete against not only every army that he can afford, but every army that each of his allies can afford. So they had, like, 10 times the number of troops on the field as me. So
damn.
I ended up having to make, like, a big standoff where basically if you take the enemy's imperial city, like, you capture their whole court and all their people, and it, like, you just instantly, like, coup and take over their government. Mm-hmm. So I was able to, for some reason, this guy let me take his flank. I think I actually, I think I confederated one of his allies. It's where you, like, with confederating, you, like, force another enemy faction to just become part of your faction. Like, they get erased from the map, and you get all of their cities and all their units under your direct control. Mm-hmm. So I think I took one of his allies, and then I was literally right next to his imperial city. So I just funneled in 5 commanders with their full retinues and armies and shit. And we surrounded his city and took it in this, like, master stroke. Like, as his armies are out, they're just, like, destroying my heartland. I mean, they just moved and took, like, everything I had in the center of the map. But I squeaked my guys around. My best people went in and took their imperial city and won the game. So nice. It was really cool to, like, make that tactical decision and understand what I was doing, you know? It's super satisfying. So I've started another game as this guy that was my main enemy because I want to see kind of how he rolls. And it's pretty good so far. And again, his thing is, like, he gets, like, alliance bonuses. So I haven't really been able to put that to the test yet, but I just hit the point where I'm going to start really being able to leverage that against my enemies. So yeah, I'm continuing to have a ton of fun with it. I think the late game is kind of weak, which is always true in Total War games, because at a certain point, when you start the game and you have 4 territories, it's like really cool, and every decision you make is huge, and you get like, you have like $1,000 every turn to deal with, and that's it. So it's like, okay, I can either hire 2 shitty troops, or I can fix this one building in the city, or I can hire a new ally or something. You know what I mean? Like, you really can't do a lot. By the end of the game, when you're in the end game, you're making like $20,000 or $30,000 per turn. You're upgrading buildings in like 7 cities. It just gets totally crazy. So the very end of the game was good. It's a really good ramp up, but kind of the late game, the middle to late game is kind of bland. But I had a really good time overall with it.
Nice. So, how much longer do you think you're going to be spending with the game?
Oh boy, a long time. I actually deleted Total War Warhammer off of my Steam just to free up some space. So I'm probably not going to go back. Like, the thing with Total War that really bugged me, and I said this a lot before Three Kingdoms came out, and it's still true, where the faction stuff was really cool. Like, the differences of the different groups is really interesting. But I want the politics to be good, because that's the shit I'm really into. Like, in real life, I would be like the fucking vizier or something. I would be Jafar, right? I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm whoever that. I'm gonna come out and do some crazy military shit. Like, in real life, I want to die in the first like battle or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to be involved with that shit. I want to be the fucking eunuch back at the castle that's like, talking shit into the emperor's ear or whatever. So, yeah, it's I really like the politics stuff, and I think I really want to see Total War Warhammer 3. I want to see them add that in. I want to see them bring in that, the politics, the sort of leaders knowing each other personally and being like, oh, dude, I know this guy. He's a dickhead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have generals that are just straight up like, in certain battles, they're like, I literally fucking hate this guy, and I will duel him even if you tell me not to. One of the other characters, so there's these like mountain bandits that are created specifically for the game. They weren't like real people, but there were mountain bandits at the time. So like, it's relatively, it's not ahistorical, it's realistic, but it's an invented character. And these guys are like, there's 2. There's a man you start as, or a woman you can start as. And the woman is one of the hardest characters in the game to play, because when you start, her main general thinks that women should not be on the battlefield. So, like, you start the game with your entire faction about to have a civil war. So, it's extremely good. There's a lot of really interesting, cool challenges. And this guy, just straight up, even if you're winning in battles, this dude's like, I just don't think women should be on the field. Like, you should be at home. Huh. So it causes really cool kind of politicking and shit you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It looks great. I mean, this is definitely something that I don't think I'll get into like now, but I feel like in like 6 months, I'm gonna be fucking batshit crazy for this.
Yeah, they're definitely looking at adding more tactical things. They're going to add a couple more leaders, it sounds like. So when this is like a fully done, in like maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, when everything is out for this and it's been all patched and everything, it's going to be, it's going to be huge. It's going to be a really good game. This is easily the best performing Total War game so far. So it's really cool to being on the ground floor of that. And that's something that I've worried about in the past too, where it's like, you kind of have to get early on this shit, because if you don't, you're going to kind of, there's a fear that you'll miss out on some stuff. I think this game, that's not going to be a big issue. Just because there's really not an emphasis on online play, and the core game is so knowable because this is a real period in history and you can go look and see what happened. So it's this game's really nailing it for me. The other thing I started out, which one of my other favorite genres, I guess, Warhammer Chaos Bane that we talked about the release of last week, kind of the Diablo Warhammer game.
Yes.
It is very much a Diablo Warhammer game.
Okay.
So in fact, the
fully
first
delivers on what you expect.
The first couple missions are very similar, like direct references to the other, the first couple missions in Diablo when you're going into the sewers, and then the sewers are connected to the crypt and that kind of shit. Like, it's very cool. I've been liking it a lot so far. I'm playing on PS4.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, I mean,
is that what chose you to go with the PS4? I mean, I know you play a lot of PC. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be playing with a couple other people. I really don't like the super high action games on PC usually. Like, I prefer Diablo on consoles.
Oh, okay.
And I have both, so I was kind of able to, I had a good example of something I could look at directly and say, hey, I like this. So that was a big part of it, but then also I want to be able to play. Like, I'm going to try to get Shannon to play. I'm going to see if I can get some other people to get it and play with me online. So
yeah, it looks really good. We said that there's four there's 4 playable characters.
Yep. We'll see if they add more in the future. But there's like the human tank, the dwarf kind of like brawler, which is just like straight damage per second build. There's the wood elf scout, which is like a ranged kind of range support and damage, right? And then there's the high elf mage, which is ranged damage, like not a lot of support powers out of him.
Okay.
So
how does like your armor work? Is that armor and weapons?
It's very similar to like Dark Alliance, where you're just changing your gear constantly,
and it changes like physically in game and stuff.
Yeah, you can see the art on it changes, and you'll get like there's elemental resistance, there's melee resistance, there's ranged resistance. So
okay, so it's pretty typical. It's pretty typical to what you would expect from something like a Baldur's Gate or Diablo or Champions.
Exactly.
Nice. Yeah. This is again something that I like.
It's kind of like a lost art form.
Yeah, I should pick this up for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will probably be something I'm interested in here. I really want to get through, and if there's nothing else going into our next segment. Did you have anything else on this?
That's it.
I really want to get through Borderlands, which is something that we've been pushing through.
Yeah.
At a pretty fast pace. It was a little slower in the beginning, but it really picked up. Like yesterday. Yeah. Like we did 2 streams yesterday. We played a pretty long time. And it's just crazy. Like on how fast we ended up progressing. After we stopped messing around with those side games or whatever. Or the side missions, not side games. But yeah, it's it's pretty much what you'd expect. There's a few gripes, and I think that's why we're trying to progress as fast as we can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a clear latency between us and we were playing with Grim. Grim was having some latency when we were playing, and Grim hosted. I was having some latency. You said you were fine.
I've been having kind of off and on. I think it's I'm having like a really low level of latency, so it's really not bugging me too much. Except for there's no way I could do ranged combat even if I wanted to, like sniper combat, because
it's just not accurate.
My shots are just a little off.
Yeah. That I felt that pretty bad when I was on Grimm's or whatever when he was hosting. But it's still been pretty fun. We've had some good conversation, of course, going with it, and some decent teamwork. A lot of flanking. We got like pretty good at that yesterday. Like even after Grim left, like we were in that what are they called? The Crimson Lance camp. Right before it was like the last thing that we did. yesterday, just you and I. And yeah, like having one of us go around to one side of the turret and, distract while the other one blows up the turret or, whatever. It ended up working out. But some of the things that it does struggle with is pretty rough. It's like it shouldn't struggle with
especially
like collision.
The main issue is that it's things that were known to be bad in the original game.
Yeah.
That were bugs that were just never fixed. And it's like, dude, when you do a when you do a remaster, there's a difference between like the original WoW having some bugs in it. Like WoW Classic came out and people were complaining about certain things, and it's like, dude, that's not a bug. That's just how the game was back then.
Yeah, it's just how the game works.
Yeah. So there's a difference between that and being like, oh, we want to be realistic to how the game came out and give people the game they remember. Yep. There's a difference between what you remember and like leaving fucking full bugs in the game.
Yes. And this
like
one
the
has
shadows in the garages and shit. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, they like some of their buildings have like an open garage door and maybe an open side door on the building. And it's a completely like pitch black, like almost like faux wall that goes over that section. And you can walk clean through it, and then it opens up, and you can look back out. It's not blacked out. It's really weird that things like that even like that they didn't notice that. I noticed that when I played the game originally, and it's still in there. It wasn't updated, so that's weird. As well, like I don't know what it was, but our vehicles at one point couldn't collide with each other anymore.
Well, it's interesting. Like you can see when the game is about to like collapse because these little bugs start stacking up.
Yeah.
So like in my game, I was seeing that the vehicles, the vehicle we were in, that I was in, that you were driving, was not colliding properly.
Yes.
With things in the environment, but on my screen, it was like vividly bouncing. It was like, it looked like it was constantly hitting a rock, even when you were standing still. So I was like, oh, something weird's going on. And you guys were like, no, it looks fine. And then all of a sudden the collision thing was happening. And then my game just froze.
Like, oh, yeah. And then it happened to Grim, too.
And then it happened to Grim, too. So, like, the game slowly falls apart and then kicks your ass out. And we were having the weirdest issues with getting missions to be remembered. So it's like...
And that happened after it failed. So the game would fail. We would all be on the same mission. When we came back, it would set whoever's game crashed, like, back, saying they didn't do something, and now the side mission's unavailable for them.
Mm-hmm.
It was never a main mission, and that's why we started saying screw the side missions and just kind of like pushing through, I think.
Yeah, because it was like, I mean, it was the weirdest shit. Like, so Grim drops in. We literally didn't do anything. Like, we went and picked up those gun parts for a side mission. We didn't turn it in, right? Uh-huh. And then we walked over to another zone. And the thing, when we got there, the door was unlocked. We didn't have to do anything to trigger it. We just like walked over to a spot, and then Grim loaded in. It's like, oh, this main mission's grayed out for me. It's saying I can't participate in it, and it's like,
yeah,
we didn't do anything. This is just the state of the game as we found it. So, like, is it really that difficult? He was what 50, 60 experience points behind us, like almost nothing. Like he shot like 6 dudes, and then he caught up to the same level we were at. So like. The game can't just say, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I'll just shove you back in. Yeah. A fucking almost 10-year-old game.
They can't figure it out. And that
figure it out. And it's been remade. It's had multiple studios' eyes on it.
Yeah. So the studio should have been their prime focus to make sure that the original game was fine. But it did have bugs.
Realistically,
that should have been their first thing.
They added in some higher res textures, I imagine.
Sure.
Right?
Yes, definitely.
On units. Because you can tell in the environment they didn't, right? So like, maybe on some of these buildings and chests and things, they're higher res, but like on walls and floors, those are exactly the same, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and I'm not too sure.
This is a game that looked really good when it came out, anyways, because it was not going for ultra realism. So they should have spent their time fixing the fucking bugs.
Yeah, and the bugs should have been their first stop. It should have been.
I mean, honestly,
I remember playing it, and this was a problem.
Yeah, And it's again, it's a fucking 10-year-old game. You've had 10 years to figure out how to fix these fucking bugs. Like, call Gearbox. It's interesting because I was talking about, we kind of had an interesting little shift in conversation between me and Grim, where it was like, when the game boots up, I'm like, oh, this was done by Blind Squirrel. They've done a couple other like HD remakes or whatever, and they've done a really good job with those. And I've been really pleased with what I've seen from them.
Right.
And then the more we played this, Grim was like, damn, I hope they're not doing any more, because this is it's exactly as bad as the first game. They did not improve it.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a really fun game. Everything that they do,
everything that was done well by Gearbox in the first place is still good.
It's still great. Yes,
it doesn't appear to have been fixed in any significant way.
Yeah,
is my issue.
Definitely.
Which is, I didn't play it a lot, so I'm mostly going off of your guys' opinions when I say that.
Yeah, it had.
But still,
I mean, it had a few issues, but they were outweighed by, like, when this originally came out, it wasn't a. Like, there wasn't a plethora of games like this.
Right.
Like,
right. It was sort of a new idea. It wasn't a new idea, but it was.
It was
a really good execution of a good idea.
Great execution of an idea that we like. And it was the first time I think we've ever seen this many weapons put in a game.
Yeah, that's probably true. So
that's definitely something. But, all of this is in preparation, of course, for us to, we're just, I think most of us are just excited for 3. Aside from Grim, he'd never admit that he's excited for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I'm excited for it. I assume you're excited for it.
Yeah, I'm interested, definitely. Again, this is a thing that, with the amount of time that they've had, they could do something so cool with it.
Yeah.
And I like that they're still sticking to the, like, hey, this is, at its heart, this is a story. Like, not an online, massively multiplayer. This is not Destiny. Like, right. This is your fun co-op shooter with your friends.
Definitely.
Looter shooter.
Yeah.
So, shooter right up in my uterus. So, it's like... I'm excited to see what they do. I think it's really cool. I think it's a good idea. It's hard to find these really good co-op games anymore.
See, I'm excited to, get in and play that, continue playing this. But I think I'm a little more excited to play, like the pre-sequel, something I necessarily didn't like.
Yeah, didn't really get into.
Yeah. But it could be more fun with, with other players. I played the pre-sequel primarily solo. But, I don't know. I'm hoping... I'm just hoping that, having the other players in there, messing around with the characters more, maybe it'll make me like them at all. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the part of the stream that we were at. Grim jumps in and steals the vehicle a second before I get there.
That was funny.
I'm like, you sons of bitches! As he's speeding off. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun. I think we'll be finished up with one in maybe like another, one or two places. Yeah. We'll be moving on to. I mean, where are we going to the pre-sequel after this, or are we playing?
Yeah, I want to do pre-sequel and then 2, because I've also heard that the pre-sequel is just not as good as 2.
Oh, it's not. Definitely,
it tries some kind of interesting new stuff, but it just didn't really nail it.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely want to do, and I want the better game to be my last experience. You know what I mean? Plus 2 is going to lead directly into 3.
Yeah.
In fact, I mean, we still don't have details, but we've been mentioning it for the past fucking 2 months. There's going to be that free DLC that's probably getting announced today.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll be live and be like, Duh! When we see it, and I want to be able to play that fresh and go, spin off of that directly into 3 when it comes out. So
hell yeah. Cool.
Yeah, pre-sequel first.
So, for me, aside from this, of course, I'm still messing around with City of Heroes and Villains. Nothing too much to update. The servers are going through a little bit of maintenance. That's always, that's always going down. So, that's something cool that you guys can download if you are interested in this. Feel free to.
Yeah, I was actually. I was following that instructional guide that you sent to me, and it was not letting me download it.
Really?
Yeah. So
yeah,
I don't know if maybe they were down at the time, because this is all managed by like fucking 3 guys. It looks like they just somebody's running a server farm out of their fucking bed or something.
Yeah. I can help you out with it. I think I have a pretty good understanding.
I kind of I don't actually want to play. I just want to create a bunch of characters.
That's 90% of what I do. I have like so many different random side characters that I've created now. I created actually, since I haven't been playing the main that Pasty and I usually, that we played originally. I created a secondary character that's based off of a character I created for a tabletop superhero game called Mutants and Masterminds.
I'm still thinking of getting into that too, by the way.
I recreated my character that I played back in like 2008, 2006 or 8, something like that. I mean, that was really cool. Like trying to recreate the character's look and the character's replicating his powers as well. That was pretty fun. I did go a side route and changed his like he never had a travel power. Like it's not something I ever thought about. It's like, oh, does he fly or does he just walk from place to place?
Yeah.
So I ended up giving him teleportation, which seems like he's an ice controller that uses like ice to shield himself, but he has fire, like fire powers. So he like does fire blast from a distance, or, but yeah, that was it was pretty fun, like recreating that character, and I've been playing with him. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I should do a stream coming up here soon, probably this week, like midweek, I think. So if you guys are into that,
cool.
But yeah, I mean, for me, that's pretty much about it. Like I said, we played some Borderlands. I've been playing City of Heroes. Haven't had a ton of time for anything else. I think coming up, I'm going to be playing my friend Pedro, which we'll talk a little bit more about.
Oh yeah.
Here in a minute. Why don't we just jump into that? Actually, there is one mobile game that I've been playing. It's probably not good. It's called Archero.
Okay.
And you play an archer or some sort of like fighter. It's kind of customizable. It's by Habi, which I imagine it's just a mobile developer or whatever. Right. But there are different worlds that you can kind of toggle between, and it takes you through areas where monsters spawn. And you start by looking like a rogue, and you're shooting like a bow. And you pick up after you when you level up, and you start at always level like 1, and you can level up to 10. As you progress through, when you get to that first level, you get to select like a new power, and it randomizes what like 3 random like powers that you can have. Your shots can not just be like a straight like one shot; it can split into 3s and splinter, or you can do a double shot, so it's one shot right after another. Or the shot will hit an enemy and ricochet to a different enemy. Or you can bounce shots off walls. And there's a ton of different like elemental effects that you can apply. It's not bad. And you can like change your equipment and level it all up. And yeah, it's good. I recommend checking that one out. I've been playing it for about a week. I thought it would fizzle out, and it did not. So definitely worth mentioning. Archero.
Nice.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into the games releasing. These will be the games that are releasing June 10th through the 23rd. But first, before we jump into that, if you guys get the chance on our 100th episode here, our basically 100th time of mentioning it, head over to facebook.com/Mammoth Games Inc. Check out all the top news and video game stuff over there. We're covering a ton of E3 2019 stuff. We've already watched and talked about EA Play. There's tons of other things that have just piqued our interest, and and you can talk about all that stuff there with us. First, before we talk about it here on the show, we'll be doing a recap all next week. So now would be a really good time to get over to the Facebook, hit that like button, and have all that good stuff show up in your feed. As well, you can always follow us on Twitter at Mammoth Games Inc. So we go live, do stuff just like this. We tweeted yesterday for the EA Play. We were going live. We've also been tweeting other things that have been shared or not really spoiled. Some remakes and the like. All the likes, comments, shares, follows, subscribes, and all that jazz is definitely appreciated.
For sure.
And I do like this. I'm glad we went with that. I'm glad we went with that gift. So you want some core games for the Wii U and 3DS? Stick it up your ass. Definitely.
Reginald,
thank you, Reginald, for your service.
Papa.
All right. So again, these are the games that are releasing June 10th through the 23rd. If you want to go ahead and take it.
Sure. So we're finally getting the release on Tuesday the 18th. Actually, it's good that we're doing 2 weeks because the first week nothing is coming out.
Nothing. So this is all not this week, next week.
Correct. So Tuesday the 18th, finally getting Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, just in time for everybody who have forgotten and not give a shit about it anymore.
Yeah, there's gonna be so much stuff that just comes out and not comes out, but like that hype people up. It's gonna be tough for this game. It looks beautiful though, to be honest.
Oh, it looks great. Yeah, I mean, for what they were going for, they've totally nailed it. They just took too long, I think. But of course, it's hard to say. It could degrade. Who knows how it's going to come out? But it's coming from a whole bunch of studios collaborated on this, and I forget who was the original Kickstarter. This was kickstarted. I forget who the original Kickstarter was, but this is from the original creator of Castlevania.
Yeah.
Or one of the. I don't know if the original creator or something, but
it's weird. They're showing the new and old, and I like both of them.
Yeah, they both look fine.
Yeah.
It's just higher fidelity. Endless boob physics,
I guess.
But I don't know. I think if they could have released old like fucking 15 years ago, that probably would have been advantageous.
Yeah.
But so
by this time they could have had the re-release.
Yeah, really. So the Switch version is coming out on the 25th. The rest of these are coming out on the 18th. So PS4, Xbox One, PC, it'll be available pretty much everywhere. But you just have to wait about a week for the Switch version.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be pretty cool. I mean, I know a lot of people have been waiting for this for a while. So
this is something I could be interested in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this your thing, you think?
No, I really don't like the platformer stuff.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's something I'm always interested in something for this, new for the Switch. And
oh yeah, that's definitely true.
Speaking of that, PC and Switch is getting My Friend Pedro from Dead Toast and Devolver. You've definitely heard me talking about this one a shit ton. It is a bullet hell platformer basically. So it's it has a flair to it though. It's doing something a little bit different. Where the environment does a few different things. It kind of reminds me of I just played Katana Zero. I definitely know I mentioned that quite a bit, but it's kind of like Max Payne mixed with Katana Zero or what was the other one that Katana Zero reminded me of? There's
a lot of these styles. This kind of style's kind of died lately.
Yeah.
But it's just now coming back. There was also Ruiner.
Yeah, Ruiner. I was gonna say it's more like not Party Hard, but what's the other one?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just got it on Twitch. It's
been free everywhere. You wear you wear different masks.
Oh boy, this is painful.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
You know what we're talking about.
Everybody owns this game, and I just
Manuel Samuel.
I don't believe that's it.
No, it's not it.
But yeah, this is it it's very Mad Max, like Mad Maxy. You can like it's almost like Mad Max mixed with Little Big Planet because you can like move your arms.
Yeah, shooting the cast iron skillet really did it for me.
Yeah, you can jump on a skateboard and kind of just like roll through the level while fucking people up, jumping cool on and off. Yeah, they've put in, they put in some work, and I can't wait to get my hands on this. I believe it's been out for PC, or no, not PC. It's already. Is it already? Has it been out for something else already?
I don't know. I think this is the initial release.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Cool. But yeah, this one is coming out Thursday, June 20th.
Hotline Miami.
Hotline fucking Miami. Thank you. God, I'm never playing
that. Was brutal.
Yeah. How can we not remember Hotline Miami?
You never know.
You ever have that? It's just like right there. Right on the tip of your dick.
Every damn day of my life. I got something on the tip of my dick. Wait, what?
Gross.
So, on Friday the 21st, the last two games coming out. This one for PS4, Xboner, and Switch. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, coming from Beanox Studio, Activision publisher.
Was this your jam, is the question I want to ask.
No.
No?
I do really like the racing games, though.
Yeah.
I'm a Diddy Kong Racing diehard.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So, it doesn't quite do it for me, but it's close. Very close.
This, people loved... Okay, it was like you either like Mario Kart, Diddy Kong, or Crash Team.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the three. And I'm blown away that this got a remake.
Kinda. Yeah, before Diddy Kong.
I'm just... It's a weird direction to go when there's so many other things that could have been... Like, I don't see how this is going to do as well as something else.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So... I don't know. It seems wild. It looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks like it'd be a fun party game or whatever. But...
Yeah, I just don't know how you would, in the modern age, even think that you can attempt to compete against, the Mario Kart, which is the only one that survived.
Yeah, I think it could compete, but I think the audience is just too small. I don't think the audience is going to be big enough. Yeah. I think it's like that same thing of like the reason certain companies won't make certain games. They're like, oh, that audience says they want it, but then when it comes time to pay for it, they don't.
Right.
And
that's what I'm expecting.
That's kind of what I'm expecting a little bit. So we'll see that here in the next few weeks. See some of them numbers.
Yep.
All right, and on the same day, Friday the 21st for PS4. Coming from your boys at Sega, Judgment. This is the Yakuza style.
Yeah.
What is it? A side story? What is this technically?
It's a different. I think it's set in the Yakuza universe because it certainly looks like it is. I mean, it's set in real Japan, like the Yakuza games are, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it looks really interesting. This, of course, got delayed because of the fucking actor snorting coke in the bathroom.
Oh God, I hate when actors.
Really, not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't in the bathroom. That's his problem. That's not our problem.
We got fucking British politicians snorting coke at parties. It's really nobody cares.
So, God damn it, that's so fucking wild to me. Like just everything about it. So this is an action adventure game, third person. It is set in the Yakuza world of Kimchura.
Okay.
Is that how it is?
I guess.
Kimusharo? I don't know. Sure. And it follows a private detective, Tamayuki Yagami, as he investigates a serial murder case. So that's what we're looking at here. It looks fun. It looks good. I've never been a big Yakuza person. But there's always a way that you can pull someone in. You know, you get different options to choose from. It looks like when you're like through dialogue. It has a little bit of a Hitman vibe where you can change the way that your character looks to get access to certain areas. I mean, you're a detective, so that's pretty cool.
This is like Detective Pikachu, but a human.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
But I still have. There's a little bit of like I don't really know what to expect. So it isn't a day one for me, but I am excited to see where this goes.
Right. Yeah, that's how I feel the same way about it.
Yeah. So yeah, this one is slated for the 21st. This thing does say the 25th though. June 25th.
I'm not sure about that. I've seen 21st. It might be different. Maybe it'll come out on PC first and then PS4 or something. Maybe it got delayed another week. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me see what this says. December 13th in Japan.
Right.
It says the 18th. Yeah, 18th in Japan as well. It says re-release.
That's weird.
Oh wait, no, original release in Japan was 2018.
Yeah.
Re-release in Japan was 2019, July 18th.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's June 25th, according to the wiki for the game.
Interesting.
So a little bit off. This one's the 25th, I guess.
That's all right.
That's all right. We talked about it, and we're done.
Sure. We really don't have a lot to say, again, because we haven't been able to see a lot because the fucking Japanese game was pulled and redone because of this fucking dude. Fucking nose candy habit.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Someone has to, you know?
IMO.
All right. So if there is some stuff that you think we missed for these next 2 weeks, feel free, let us know, and we'll try to pepper them into our next week's show. It's going to be primarily an E3 heavy show. So, kind of expect that, talking about all of the things that, surprised us, that we're into, that we're not into, except Grim, because he's just not into any of it and none of it.
Right. So
there'll be a lot of that in the comments, I think. So, just preparing everyone. But yeah. So we'll try to do a small segment of like things that were missed if needed. All right, why don't we go ahead and jump into we'll jump into the news. Yeah, I mean we had some good stuff. We're gonna go ahead and avoid a lot of our E3 talk. We're gonna talk about the only thing from quote E3 that we've seen thus far. Maybe the two things. A few of the other small things that I think we've talked about maybe in the past, and then of course we're gonna start off with the thing that I think we wanted to talk about last week, and we kind of talked about like a little direct stuff last week.
Yeah, a little pre-com.
A little bit.
Yeah, so last week we had, Pokemon released some details of, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Home, some of that other stuff, kind of as a warm-up. This week they went ahead, this past week I should say, they went ahead and did the whole Pokemon Direct. I believe that was on Tuesday or Wednesday. Where they released a bunch of content for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So we knew the three starters, right? Sobble, Scorbunny, and Grookey. So they revealed in this trailer, they revealed some more Pokemon. They actually talked to one of the art designers, which is a British guy, which was kind of cool to kind of see him talk about his experience and everything. But yeah, they showed off some of the world. So apparently in between, like the cities are going to be much larger than we've seen in previous games. It's kind of similar to, I guess like Black and White. They had the really large cities. This is sort of based on like England, I guess. So, it's got some of that big, it's like big city and then like rural farming. And that's pretty much everything, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's looking really cool. I mean, it's open world in between cities. And even in the city, I mean, it looks like you're running up and down staircases. You're doing a lot of cool stuff.
It's very standard, I think, what we've come to expect from a Pokemon game, except now the worlds
freeform.
Are freeform. They're a bit bigger.
Yeah. You can control the camera while you're running around, so it's a lot more... it used to be like, okay, here's your path. You're on Route 2. Route 2 is literally just a channel, a 2 or 3 square wide, block between two cities, and that's everything. Whereas now, you're going out and running around in 360, degrees, running all over the wild territory. What do they call it? Wild zone or something like that.
Yeah.
So
now, is that wild zone?
I read that as being there are cities and there are wild zones. I did not read that as being it's like a safari zone, like a contained place.
Now,
but we didn't get a ton of detail on that.
We do see some stuff that I don't want to say is confusing, but it led me to having more questions because I didn't get to watch the whole direct. Of course, it happens literally when I go to work. I watched the trailer, and I never ended up watching to see everything that was said.
Yeah.
So, at one point in this trailer, we just saw 4 characters all run up to this. It looked like some stones that had like a hole in the center of it or something. And they all ended up going into a battle with a much larger Pokemon.
Yeah, so that is... how did they describe it?
That's a raid, right?
Yeah, they're basically raids. It's called the something effect, the Dynamax effect. So that's what the you know how the professor in the area is always researching the new thing. So Professor Oak was like, "Hey, I invented this Pokedex. I'm trying to categorize all the Pokemon in our world." And then the next one was like, "Hey, I noticed that there's eggs. I'm the egg professor." So they've gone on from there. Every new effect has a new professor. This professor is researching the Dynamax effect, which makes these Pokemon giant and much more powerful.
Okay.
So basically, you're joining raids with other players. We have yet to see how that works. So it's not not like a Dark Souls where your fucking allies are all walking around in the world and you just bump into them, right?
Well,
it's not from what I've seen. It seems like you're going to create multiplayer instances and invite your friends and then go, but we don't know for sure yet.
Okay,
that's part of the confusing stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. I didn't know how. I didn't know how multiplayer would work into this.
Yeah, we don't really know yet. They do have that disclaimer that says, "Hey, doing these Dynamax raids is going to require other accessories." Which by that I think they mean your friends has to have their own Switch and you have to play with them online, or you might use your phone to talk to them. You know,
yeah,
to do
it's
the
probably
Pokemon,
that's
or
probably
the Nintendo chat thing. So it's. You know, they're still being a little vague on it, but I don't think they're being vague to hide information. I think they're being vague because they don't want to say, like, hey, you're going to have to pay $10 a month to chat and play online and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that they can't control, so they're not talking about it, it seems like. Because the Pokemon Company really tries not to step on Nintendo's toes. Nintendo does not own Pokemon, right? Like, Pokemon can be on whatever they want.
Right.
So they have a really unique relationship, so they're usually really, really careful to not say anything negative about Nintendo. And they also don't say anything like, they don't want to say, hey, it's going to cost you $10 a month to play online, because they might work out a deal that it's free, which some games have. They might, Nintendo might change that price, and then they were caught lying in their trailer or whatever. You never know, so they're being really hesitant on that still.
Right. And they showed off some new ones.
Yeah, so the new Pokemon, they showed Wooloo, which the internet is fucking losing their mind about. It's like a new sheep Pokemon. It looks like a cuter Mary, basically.
Yep.
They showed off Gossifleur, which is like this, like a flowery girl with big hair. They showed off Dreadnought, which is a big biting, it's like a snapping turtle Pokemon. Yep. It's pretty cool looking.
Like a rock turtle dragon?
Yeah.
Thing?
Something like that. Yeah, they said he's biting. He uses his jaw to bite rocks and shit. So he's probably going to be maybe rock and ground, or rock and water would be cool. We don't know yet on that. There's Corviknight, which is like this. It's like a raven that looks like a knight piece on a chessboard.
Yeah, it almost looks like a steel raven.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a meaner Skarmory, but all black.
And he's big.
He's huge, and they're actually used to fly taxis in between cities, so that's going to replace your HM. I know they've been trying to phase out the HMs, so it seems like he's going to be your thing to fly you between cities. Gossifleur, the cute little flower thing, evolves into a basically like a cotton ball, or like it's like a dandelion sort of. It's like a little flowery guy, Eldegoss. But he has a big like cottony head with a bunch of little seeds on it.
Yep.
And I guarantee that thing's going to evolve a third time, because this reminds me of like the Hoppip line. So this is probably like the new game's Hoppip. And didn't they show off somebody else too? Oh, and they showed off the legendaries, which were kind of lame, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, they're not great.
Yeah.
So
They're probably not the worst.
We had Zakhan.
Yeah, their names are really weird.
Yeah, really weird. It's basically a dog with a sword in its mouth.
Like you do.
And Zamatana, which is
Sure.
the shield dog. So we're going back
like
to basically dogs. Like
Yeah,
wolves.
it's basically the fucking Entei run again. But yeah, it's they have so the one is like, yeah, it's very much like a wolf, but just has like a sword in his mouth. They have like a red, white, and blue color scheme, kind of like the British flag, with some like gold plating and stuff. Not great, not a great design. I think it's probably one of the weaker legendaries in any of the games.
Right.
Plus, we've already done the dogs before, so I don't know why they're going back to that, but fine, it's fine.
Yeah, we haven't had legendary cats.
Hey, hold on.
We've done something here.
I think they could have done something really cool with like golems or something, because this is the
well, didn't they already
country
do
where
that?
yeah, they did Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, and Reggie Steel, right? But they're going to a big part of this game is going to be those like hill sculptures, which are exist in England, and the fucking stone, like Stonehenge and shit like that.
Right.
So they could have done something cool with like ancient, like earth-based, like an iron one. So like a steel type, a ground type, and a rock type could have been cool. I don't know. I mean, it's it's probably gotten really tough to do those at this point because they pretty much did all the cool shit already.
Yeah, like I think it would be kind of cool to have like maybe sea creatures.
Yeah, like legendary sea monsters. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could have been really cool.
I mean, they have a lot of options, so I do think it's weird to go to this. I do find it weird that they've like narrowed it down to just 2, and that seems like something that's progressed over time.
Well, no, that's typical, right? I mean, like there will be a third one when Pokemon Gun comes out. So like these are I've actually gotten that wrong. These are similar to, these are not like Entei and those guys. These are like Lugia and Ho-Oh, right?
Right.
There's 2 of them. So there will be probably 3 additional legendaries or whatever.
That's what I was going to say. It always seems weird. Like, even back in the original run, we did get 3 legendaries.
Yeah.
And then we had Mewtwo.
So, yeah, I'm wrong about that. I was thinking of the wrong group of guys. So, anyways.
But I do think it's weird, like, that... I don't know. I guess I don't know if I've ever really really been super into...
yeah, I think the legendaries are typically pretty lame.
Yeah.
The legendaries and the, like, 2 that are on the cover art, like, Diamond and Pearl had, like, a little dragon dude and a mean, like, giraffe or whatever the fuck. Like, they've always been kind of suckish. So, like, the game's really not about them.
Like, even Ho-Oh and, like, Lugia, just, they're not great.
No. It's especially in a game when you talk about the cool shit is that you like evolve Pokemon. The fact that these big sacred legendaries don't evolve has always struck me as really weird.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't know. I think they don't want them to feel
your game is to have shit evolve.
Yeah.
So
I just don't feel like they want them to be feel weak at all.
Right. They never want to have a weak form because it's like, I mean, when you get into the later games, it's like, oh, this dude created the universe and this guy controls time. So, like, as a baby, wouldn't they just fuck around and like destroy the universe on accident?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I definitely get it.
But the game is, Sword and Shield. They're both respectively releasing November 15th. Yep. November continuing to be just the busiest fucking time forever.
Yeah. Jesus.
But that is awesome. I am
I'm super excited.
Fully fucking torqued to get into this. I'm gonna have to see exactly what pace he's getting. I'm thinking I'm gonna go Sword. I don't know what he's probably gonna go with, but I feel like I'm gonna have to try to talk him into getting Shield just to make sure. Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get Shield for sure.
Yeah, so that would work out.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna buy the dual pack, but I'm planning on, depending on when it releases, which we might hear about on Tuesday.
Well, they said
from
the 15th.
Nintendo show. Well, not that. I mean the like altered Switch consoles or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because there's going to be like a nicer version and then a handheld only version, right?
Yep.
Has that been confirmed?
I think that's been confirmed. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we still might have to hear some info from Nintendo on that on their direct, but I'm looking forward to buying another one of those. Have like a mobile only one and a nicer like HD screen one for the TV or whatever. So we'll have to see what they announce on that, but I plan on getting another one anyway, so I'll probably have Shannon doing Sword.
Yeah. And I plan on buying keeping this edition that I already have and getting that big dick edition. I know what they're gonna do with it. We already know. Like
we have a pretty fucking good idea.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, surprise! You can't do this on this system now." It's like,
yep.
Fuck, did I even buy it? Rat
exactly.
bastards. I do love the sporting event that they kind of like set up for the league or for the gyms.
Yeah, it's like football, basically.
It's fucking awesome. Like, I always kind of imagined it that way, like, you know, stadium and the like, but seeing the way that the ground looks and the way that
it's like a manicured lawn and big stadium for people to watch these fights in. It seems really cool. I'm really excited for that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got our dicks out enough for this one. You can actually go over to swordshield.pokemon.com and get a look for yourself on all of the things on how they work. Meet some of the like check out some of the new Pokemon. Meet like some of the new gym leaders and what the world has to offer. If just sitting down and watching that video isn't for you, if you'd rather just take a read,
just kind of check it out, right?
Yeah.
Damn, the fucking Scottish girl character has me fucked up.
Oh yeah, the
I
gym
love
leader?
the shit the like player character, the female player character.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Scottish Twitter has completely taken over that character, and the fucking commentary is hilarious.
I'd be interested in hearing some of that commentary.
It's pretty fucking good.
It's a lot
of... I think you can. I forget how to look it up. There used to be a really good tag that you could look at.
I will say I've been. They have the in the Pokemon card run. They've been doing the dual, like 2 Pokemon on 1 card. Yeah. I've been picking up a pack every now and again, trying to get some of those. I did get one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just kind of dumb extra little things, and it gives you an extra pack to play with for the Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah.
Kind of fun. Kind of worth it. All right. We'll go ahead and move on. I think we talked about it last week, but, you know, definitely official Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian Studios. We did not watch the trailer, I don't believe.
No, we didn't watch it before. Yeah, this is the trailer I think's new.
Yeah, I watched the trailer probably soon after we talked about it before. But it does show a warrior like knight in an urban area. And he looks like he's fucked up a little bit. And he's like resting on his sword, and he keeps hearing stuff and turning around, and he throws up into his hand just blood and teeth.
Damn, like you do.
Drops down to his knees and he's screaming. You see his face start like shape shifting, and
he's getting like madly distorted.
Yeah, and his fingers start like breaking and reshaping.
Yeah.
And his hair just immediately falls off. His face kind of turns almost inside out. And like tentacles end up coming out of his mouth, and he's walking down the street.
Bust out and like blow all the teeth out of the way.
Yeah. And he ends up standing up, and he's just I mean, is he technically like a mind flayer?
Well, yeah, he's become an illithid.
Yeah.
That's how they reproduce.
Oh, from like the inside?
Yeah, they put like a tadpole into people's brains. The tadpole takes over the body and reforms it. It's pretty dope.
So this video at the end shows him fully transformed into an illithid. He's on his knee. He's down on one knee, and he stands back up, leaving his sword behind. He just starts to float, and he's like hovering, looking up at the sky.
There's like it's a storm at this point, and then there's like flashes of lightning that illuminate these like floating shapes in the sky.
Yeah, and
extremely good.
And the floating shapes are obviously like other
more mind flayers.
Yeah, more mind flayers. And a large lightning strike happens, and there's like a mess of tentacles, like fucking Cthulhu himself.
A giant one. Right.
Yeah. As he gets kind of closer to the camera, and then just fades out. Baldur's Gate 3 with the logo, with that big 3 that they had, and mess of tentacles wrapping around it. We don't know anything more about this. They do have Baldur's Gate 3.game out there, so you can go check it out. Actually, let's check that out now.
Yeah, it's nothing's crazy going on. I went and checked the website, but it looks really cool, dude. And Larian's such a cool studio to have it too.
Oh yeah.
Take up that first U. Baldur's Gate.
We'll be.
Oh, that's weird how it did that. That redirect was really odd.
Yeah. Take a minute. I'm just gonna copy this. God damn, I can't even type today.
.game.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking game.
This domain is for sale. What the fuck? How'd they not buy that?
They didn't buy that. I don't know. They wanted the game.
Dude, get it.
Get it right now.
Meatspin.com redirect.
Whoop, whoop,
We're good to go, boys.
We're going to redirect. And they're going to be like, shit, now we have to buy it. We don't want to be it.
Fuck.
So not much going on. You can subscribe for updates, which is what I'm probably going to do in the next minute here. Because I want to know as much as I can about this one for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if they didn't want to do Baldur'sGate.com, because if that was taken, people would know that Baldur's Gate 3 was being made. But probably nobody was looking for Baldur's Gate 3.game.
Fair.
Right?
But they could have just grabbed it and sat on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Womp womp.
Huh. So, I mean, Larian, really, I don't think they could have got a better studio to work on it at this point. So, should be some cool stuff.
All right. So, up next is something that I could not care less about.
Yep.
Grim keeps saying that Destiny 2 is going free. I haven't heard that yet, so that's not something that I'm, going to be whipping out. But they did show off Destiny 2's Shadowkeep. I actually haven't seen this yet, so I have no idea what's going on.
Going back to the moon. I assume there are going to be some Awakened shit, right? The Ramooni type dudes?
Probably, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not too sure of what's going on, but I mean, obviously, Destiny's always done, I think, a really good job of advertisement.
Yep.
Like marketing. So it looks really cool.
Definitely. If you'd like to check out that reveal trailer, you can always just search up Shadowkeep's reveal trailer. And you had a Kotaku article up here as well.
Yeah, I was just talking about what's coming with it. It's kind of interesting. Free-to-play base game is Bungie's talking about. That hasn't hit yet, so like you said, I'm not really sold on that yet. But
it could be something that becomes available.
Right. They are introducing cross saves. Apparently, they are going to pull Destiny off of. They're going to pull it off of Battle.net and put it on Steam.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Weird, right?
You can buy Shadowkeep completely standalone. You don't have to own Forsaken or any other parts of the DLC.
Okay.
It's getting cross save, which Sony at a last minute decision allowed them to do that. The base version and the all year one content will be going free to play with the new title Destiny 2 New Light. So that's kind of cool. I might possibly, get into it now that it's just going to be freely available. I just don't think that Destiny could ever win me back. And the goal of Destiny is not for me. It's not being marketed into something I'm interested in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So regardless of how good they do on it, it's just really not my thing. I think this is a really smart decision. It's the right way to go. Obviously, they need to grow their market because they lost people between Destiny 1 and 2.
Yes. Wow.
So I think it's a smart move. Overall, I think they're doing the right thing with it. Just kind of interesting how they got here.
Yeah, like, so, I mean, like, personally with Destiny, I don't have much of an interest for 2. But I am interested in whatever they plan on moving on to next.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now that they're newly independent, right?
Right.
That's obviously why they're coming off of Battle.net. They're going to try to transition into their own thing that they're no longer needing the support of Activision on.
They're going to be Bunge.e.
Bunge.e. .games. Love it.
Yeah. So I guess there's some movement here. What do you think? How long do you think they're going to keep going with Destiny 2?
I don't know. I mean, with this expansion, that would put it around the same. I think it's the similar or the same number of expansions that totally, like, in all of expansions put together, existed for Destiny 1. This is probably the last one, right?
Yeah, I would say. It's probably the last one.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Cool. So let's move on to, I guess, a little bit of E3 news. I mean, I would say this is probably E3 for them. It's around the same time. Talk a little bit about the Google Stadia. So, what exactly is the Google Stadia? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's it's weird because I think they went completely the wrong way with it.
Okay.
Google Stadia is, so we have a couple things. We have the link directly to Google's website for the Google Stadia Founder Edition, $129 free shipping. So with the custom controller and shit.
It also comes with a Google Chromecast Ultra. So
that's kind of cool. That's a cool little get.
That's basically the receiver that you're going to be playing this off of.
If you're running it on your TV.
If you're running it on your TV, yeah. Now, if you're running elsewhere, that device will act as, you'll probably have to download that extra app or whatever to make sure that it can run. But yeah, the idea is you can take the Stadia controller and play on your TV, and then if you have to go take a shit, you can pop it over to your tablet. And then when you're done with your shit, if you have to go to work, you can leave your tablet at home and take your phone. And you can play the same game seamlessly between all devices.
It's pretty cool.
With this controller is set up kind of like a more rounded version of a PlayStation controller, kind of like a Switch, a Switch Pro.
It's very
controller.
Close to a Switch Pro.
Yeah. So pretty standard size. It comes with let's see here, the tech specs for the Founders Edition of what's in the box. It of course comes with the controller, the Chromecast Ultra. The controller is apparently night blue, a USB-C to A cable, and a power adapter. So with that, we do know it's getting, they're getting some games.
Yes.
But how, what are we? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, but what is making me want to go and buy this $130 plus tax device that's going to replace something I've already purchased to play this, and I don't have to worry about latency or anything like that.
I think really this limited launch thing. I mean, the main advantage is you get the 3 months of Pro, and you get a second 3 month of Pro to give to a friend that can play. So they'll have to just play with their own controller or mouse and keyboard, whatever. Sure. The Pro will be getting free games. We don't know the particulars on that yet, if it's going to be like Xbox Gold or if it's going to be like Games Pass. We don't know the number of free games. We don't know the quality of the free games. We don't know the price of the free games normally. We do know at launch that it's going to include all of Destiny 2, including Shadowkeep, and the annual pass. It'll include every piece of content available for Destiny 2 at launch, which is pretty cool.
So
I think it's a good way for Bungie to differentiate themselves out of Activision, basically.
we're looking at some of the titles here that you can pick up. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Metro Exodus, Final Fantasy 15, Wolfenstein Youngblood, of course, Destiny 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, The Crew 2, even more like brand new titles like Mortal Kombat 11. And looking to the future, Baldur's Gate 3 is on this list, Borderlands 3, the new Darksiders game, and they're not leaving MMOs out with stuff like Elder Scroll Online.
Right.
So it looks like they have a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, but those are all like to be purchased at full price. So like right now, it seems like what Stadia is going to be going for in the future is you don't have to go buy a console, right? So like this is the streaming future that sort of Xbox has been talking about, and certainly like, you know, with Steam, you don't have to go buy a Steam box to play Steam, right? Like you have to have any computer that can run Steam, and then you can play every game that's on Steam essentially, as long as your computer meets the minimum requirements for that game. Okay. So like the advantage of Stadia when the regular version comes out next year is that if a kid says to their mom, hey, I want Borderlands 3, if you don't already own an Xbox, you don't have to go buy a $300 system to play it. Right. And the regular version of Stadia is going to be free. So you really don't need anything. I mean, if you're going to play on your computer, you don't need to buy anything additional. If you're going to play on your TV, I guess you need to buy a controller and some kind of Google streaming box.
But at that time, it just if you're just grabbing the Stadia base free edition, it's just a replacement for Steam and Epic,
basically.
But if you want to pay $10, you get some free games, and you get the chance to purchase other games at a discount.
So I don't know what that. It's probably a 10% discount, right? Nothing worth writing home about, most likely.
Right. So I'm
it's like weird. I just don't understand. It seems like this thing has two markets in mind.
Yes.
And it's not catering to either one particularly well.
I was under the assumption that this $10 a month would be more. I thought it was going to be like $20 a month.
I thought it would be. I was thinking $15 a month. It would be something like Games Pass, where Google Stadia comes up with, okay, here's the games that we're going to have on offer this month, and then for most months it's the same games, and they just add a few and subtract a few that are not getting any popular hits. You know,
right?
It's just very. I just don't know who they're marketing to, because this market is already served by Steam.
Yep.
On the one hand. And on the other hand, that market is already served by the consoles. So hey, you don't need to buy anything additional. You can just stream straight from our site, whatever. You can't stream on Steam, but you can fucking download it in 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. And you don't have to blow up your data connection at all times of day, right? See,
I was under the impression that this thing was going to replace buying video games.
It's exactly what I thought. And the fact that it's like, hey guys, did you know you can buy Doom Eternal on this game service? It's like, yeah, no shit, I can buy it on any game.
Buy it literally any fucking place.
Yeah,
so they want you to spend.
I can buy it on the Bethesda.net web store that sucks dick. Like, I can buy it anywhere.
So they not only want you to spend $130 to be able to just buy the game for 10% off, they also want you to spend $10 a month to do so.
Yep. So yeah, and if you look at the price, let's pop my calculator up here.
If you have the money to spend $130 plus $10 a month and to buy the game, just buy like a PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
and buy the game and own it, and don't worry about your internet crashing and you never being able to do anything ever.
Right. So yeah, if your internet goes out, there is no download model as far as we know. They did not say you can download games.
Right.
It's stream only as far as we know. If you're doing the 4K version, by the way, every 65 hours of games is a full terabyte streamed.
God damn.
That's very difficult. If your internet fucking twitches for a second, you're playing on 1080p.
Yep.
So you might as well be doing the free model. Really, the advantage right now is it's 130 right now plus free shipping.
Yep.
So you're getting Game Pass for 3 months. So that's $30. You're getting Game Pass for your friend to check out for 3 months. That's $60.
That's $0 because it's for my friend, not me.
That's true. I mean, I think the goal is that you have somebody to play with.
Right. I get it.
You can, if you wanted to, you could have that. So you could say $45. I guess they're giving you a $60 value with that just up front. So there's a $70 that is split up between the controller, the device. So the controller is probably $50, right? So the Chromecast thing is probably so you save a little bit of money if you break it out piecemeal, but I don't think it's enticing enough to pull people in right away.
Yeah.
And again, you're assuming that people have a device. I guess okay, that's not true. I was gonna say you're assuming people can stream 4K,
right?
Which is like, I don't know. I guess like really what we're gonna have to see here is, has Google really figured out a way to get 60 frames per second over a 10 megabit connection? Because that would be significant.
Yeah.
So really, the question is, what's the underlying technology? And they're not bragging about that. They're like, hey, you can play Borderlands. It's like, you're going to be able to play that on everything, dude. That's not a gimme. You can play Destiny 2. Yeah, I can play that anywhere.
Right.
So, it's the real technology is the underlying stuff. Hey, we've managed to really get good dedicated bandwidth control. And you can run 4K shit on a 35 megabit stream. I don't think that's going to work. I think, I tested they have a thing on their website that says test your connection, and it tests it for, several seconds, and it determines like, okay, I think that you would be able to have a consistent download speed enough to do the 4K version. Right?
Right.
But, if your, significant other or housemate gets home and they jump on the Wi-Fi, are you suddenly not going to be able to do 4K anymore? If school gets out and all the kids in your neighborhood get home and jump on their Xbox, are you not going to be able to do 4K anymore? Like, I know certain times of day that my internet slows down because other people in the neighborhood get on. Somebody starts watching Netflix in the house. I have an update to one of my consoles,
Right.
It's even if I pay for 100 megabit connection. I don't think I consistently get 35 megabits at every single second all the time. Right?
Right. So, like, there is no, like, I'm looking at them, like, there's no way in hell their minimum is going to be 10.
Yeah, that's not possible.
That's just not possible. I think their minimum is closer to, like, 25.
I can tell you right now, so for Borderlands, we started downloading the Handsome Jack collection because we're really just trying to crank through the first game because it's sort of just too problematic to deal with.
Right.
But still something that we want to play and something that we want to get the full experience of, right?
Right.
So we're not going to 100% it, but we're going to get as much as we can before we move on. So, like, downloading on my PS4 Pro on 100 megabit connection, and I'm wireless, so you lose a little bit on that automatically, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say I'm getting 70 megabits to my PS4. It took me fucking 10 hours to download the Handsome Collection and the 4K texture pack for it.
Yeah.
Right? The PS4 Pro has a data cap limit of about 35 megabits per second.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not hit that consistently.
No, not even close.
So
it's usually sitting around like 10, if that.
Right. So the Xbox One X, the most powerful console ever released, blah, blah, blah. Suck Microsoft sticks for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, that thing takes a minute to download big games. Now, if you're streaming 4K textures at all times and the full game, 35 ain't going to cut it.
No, not even close.
I work in IT. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
So really what they need to be saying is, hey, we've created this underlying, whether it's doing like network tunneling, where it creates a distinct handshake path from use directly to the Google servers, that could work.
I hear tunnels collapse, though.
That's what GameStop said, so you never know. Speaking of fucking collapse in GameStop, But it's just like if anybody could do it, it's Google.
Mhm.
But they just have not talked in a way that lets me believe that this is going to work because so I play League of Legends on my computer, right?
Mhm.
I have about a 10 millisecond delay from me to the server. It's almost unnoticeable, right? Especially in a game where you sort of preload commands anyways. So like 10 to 15, you don't really notice a delay until you start getting to like 20 milliseconds because human eye update time is about 15 milliseconds. So like you can start noticing it over 25, 30, 100. There's no way you're going to be able to play fast reflex Twitch games like Destiny multiplayer streaming at 4K on 35 megabits. It's not going to happen.
Agreed. Yeah.
With 60 frames per second. It's just not going to happen. The technology is just not there from what I understand now.
And let's,
if Google has solved that, then that's different. But they're not marketing that.
And let's not forget the fact of... So, when is this releasing? What's the date on this?
November something, I believe.
See? It arrives this November. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I'm also expecting this November just the full fucking thing to crash the first, 3 days.
Oh, yeah, it's not going to work for a week.
Not even
That's
function.
Guaranteed.
Because I challenge somebody to find me something online that worked perfectly from day one on.
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet.
It doesn't happen. So it's a step in the right direction, but I don't know if they fully realize.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just don't know if they can pull it off.
I don't think they can pull it off. I have friends who bought into the Founders Edition. I have friends that are very interested and, want to buy into the Founders Edition.
Right.
But I'm, on the other hand, sitting here going, there's no fucking way. And I want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think they can.
100%.
I don't think it's
100%.
possible.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the knowledge of how gaming works to be able to pull something like this off.
Yeah, so again, this is something that I've been talking with somebody at work about. Like, Amazon and Google both have a games division.
Right.
They pay people full time to make games. What have they released? Neither one has ever released a game.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon's had a games. They've had a games division for 10 years.
What's that called? The Lumberyard?
The Lumberyard's the engine. Yeah, they bought that from it used to be a Crytek game engine or something.
Yeah, probably.
But it's. I mean, both of these studios these companies have had game studios for years, and they've never released anything. What's the Google game? As far as I know, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What's the Amazon game? As far as I know, it doesn't exist. And these guys think they're the next big shit in games, but it's like, dog, at least, people bitch and complain about the Epic Game Store. At least they fucking make games.
Yeah.
There are Epic games I can go download right now.
Right now.
They've
are
given
wildly
me free shit
successful.
To play. They've given me free shit to play, and they talk about what their free shit is months in advance.
Yeah.
I don't know, other than Destiny 2, what is going to be available on the system. I don't know how often they're going to put games out. I don't know how modern the free games are going to be.
And let's talk about that for a second. Leading with Destiny 2.
That's an interesting choice.
That is a bold fucking choice.
Leading with a game that's widely considered to have failed. Like a dead game, right? That would be like, guys, we've done it. Our flagship game on the Google Stadia, Anthem. You know what I mean? I just don't get what they're doing. It's very odd.
They should have got Jack Black on board and led with Brutal Legend.
Holy shit. Wait a minute.
Not a remake, just the original game that you can play
everywhere. The original game on 360.
That you can play right now for $6.99.
Fucking buy it at GameStop for $1. They'll pay you to pick up a copy.
Yeah. Jack will come to your house. He don't care.
You'll get fucking 3 stocks in the company if you pick up a copy of the game. Yeah, it's very odd. So we'll have to see where they go with it. This could be a very similar to the Epic situation where at first it's like, this is dumb, you're dumb, fuck your company. And then after, if they have the ability to prove themselves. If anybody can just sink money into something and just fucking burn cash to get subscriber share, it's Google, right?
Sure.
Again, the other company I talk shit about there, Amazon. Amazon, the store, lost money for 15 years. They didn't turn a profit until 2017. So, like, they do not care to lose money for a while just to build up that base, you know? So, Google could definitely do it. We just need to see more. I'm interested. I'm on board. I just need to see more.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. I think we're going to hear a little bit more about it before this week's up.
Yep.
So
they really need to. They need to get the word out now because they've blown their full load, and it didn't make me orgasm. So I'm going to need more.
And yeah, they don't have. I don't know. I'd like to hear from the audience though. I'd love to hear what they think on the idea of spending $130 for a controller and with a Google Chrome Ultra to just buy the same games that they're going to buy anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I don't mean to skew it in that way, but that's just the best way that I think I can say that.
Yep.
So yeah, let us know. And let's move on to the next thing.
For sure. So we kind of teased it, I guess, in there. They've announced, THQ has announced a new Darksiders game, Darksiders Genesis, which is a Diablo style.
God damn. Making a comeback.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, this type of game is really making a comeback. I think it started with like Path of Exile when that kind of took off.
Right.
So yeah, this is back with Airship Syndicate working on it, which is really cool. The guys
That's
good. The studio, not the same studio, but most of the same talent that made the original Darksiders game and set up that world and everything. What is Vigil Games originally? So seems extremely Diablo.
Yep.
It's even going with the same thing of like demons are your enemies. Even that boss that he's talking to looks like a Diablo boss. It looks like Baal or looks like whoever from Diablo 3. So it's kind of weird that everybody's doing this same thing, but sure, that's fine. I'm into it. And you can bring in friends that'll play. We see somebody playing as War from the first game. Your character that you play as, or the main character for the game, looks like Strife, which is like a gun wielder. Like a dual guns, which seems really cool.
Yeah, so it says, reeling from new events on Eden, War and Strife have been given a new assignment. Lucifer.
Damn. Well, don't mind if I doozies.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
So
that'll be cool.
You can blast angels and demons as the gunslinging horseman Strife, playable for the first time. Swap between the powerful swordsman War and Strife instantly in single-player gameplay. Explore the world of Darksiders and wreak havoc with a friend with 2-player co-op mode. Experience a brand new story campaign that takes place before the original Darksiders, exploring the origins of the Seven Seals. And grow in strength and power as you collect items, abilities, weapon enhancements, creature cores, and more.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Strife's gonna cut this guy from butt to nut. Tell him that much. And,
he's gonna pop those 3 heads into 3 separate dudes that are much skinnier.
So this is a 2-player co-op. Unlike most games of its kind, it's usually a 4-player co-op. Yeah, this one just says, I think it's just 2-player.
Okay.
Interesting.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to see more. How many times do I have to fucking say that? God damn it.
Yeah. We like this kind of game.
Yeah.
So, this is made for, like we were talking a little bit about the on the Stadia. That audience is marketed for us.
Yeah.
But we're not interested. This is marketed for us, and we are interested.
Correct.
So this is the fucking flip side of what we were just talking about. Looks great, though.
Very weird.
This intro trailer, if you haven't checked out the official cinematic teaser trailer for Genesis, he looks like Cade 6 from Destiny, Strife, in the face.
He does.
And but the rest of him looks... This is the direction that they should have been going, I think.
Yeah.
Super good. And then, if that's not enough, we did get word of a Destroy All Humans remake.
Hell yeah! So yeah, THQ actually basically what they did leaning into E3. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna turn up the sound on it a little bit so we can hear it in the background because the music choice was damn good.
Yeah. So yeah, they basically THQ said, we heard that they have like fucking 100 games.
It's like 80
in
games.
Progress.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna see sort of they teased 3 games before E3. So those 3 were the first one was a remake of SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Yep.
That's pretty fucking tight. We're not going to show that off because there's nothing special about it, but it's pretty cool. They announced Darksiders Genesis, and they announced Destroy All Humans remake. So it's not HD texture pack or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a full remake. We don't see any gameplay yet, but I imagine it's going to be pretty dope.
No, this video's fucking enough though.
Yeah.
Like the official remake reveal trailer for Destroy All Humans straight up has Rammstein, and Crypto is hypnotizing the masses.
Yes.
Making him do basically whatever he wants, and then he just
extremely good.
I think he ends up. He ends up turning the hypnotized masses into a concert where the lead investigator is still coming after him, and he disappears. And he ends up showing up behind him, taking off his glasses and getting him hypnotized anyway.
Yeah.
And then he flies off in his ship and just fucking vaporizes everybody.
Damn.
So good.
Yep.
Just everything about the trailer, from the art to the music to what happens, is fucking rad. So I didn't expect to be this jacked up for Destroy All Humans in 2020.
Yeah.
Just saying that is just
so cool.
Wild.
It's so cool, dude. THQ Nordic has realized their maximum potential, which is just shit out so many games. They own all these licenses. How much money do you have to put into a Destroy All Humans remake?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's relatively budget. It was a B game to begin with. And just pop them out. All this stuff, capture people's nostalgia, start doing some new stuff on the side and just to see what hits.
Yeah,
and just crank all of the shit out.
And get the foundation's there. You know what this game is going to be. You know what it's going to play like. You know how it's going to feel. But flex a little bit by putting a few ideas that could work in this new thing. Whether it be a new flying mechanic for the ship, or a new way that people go from place to place. Easy things like that that'll help you progress, whatever it is you're working on. And I feel like that's the kind of stuff that they're doing. And this art really is cool stuff. So fucking good.
Yeah.
For this trailer. I don't know what the game's going to look like, but everything about this trailer got me hyped up for this.
Yep.
So, we'll hear more about this. I don't know if we're going to hear any more about Destroy All Humans at E3 specifically. I don't think we'll see gameplay or anything. But, yeah, we'll definitely keep y'all posted on that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, so if you guys have been hanging out this whole time just to hear this shit on EA, buckle up.
Now's your moment.
So, we did sit down. We watched the most interesting part of the EA Play 2019.
Easily.
And it was hosted by several different people. Right off the gate, we had Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order.
Yeah. Which, I guess it kind of got sort of a mixed response. In general, we were kind of looking at a data aggregator thing.
Yeah. I
think people were really happy to see new gameplay.
Yes.
So that got a really positive response from fans. Basically, I'm super excited for it because it looks like another Star Wars Force Unleashed, which I was super into.
Sure.
If you weren't into Force Unleashed, this is probably not going to look amazing to you. It's just that type of thing. It seems like they picked out a series that was relatively well received in the past, and they were like, okay, let's just do that. The traversal looks really fun. So they've really fixed Like it's gonna be a lot more interesting to go from place to place than it was in like Force Unleashed. You basically just would fucking walk around and like jump on 2 blocks and you're there.
Yeah, yep.
This is a canonical storyline set after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, this is canon. So,
and we do see Saw Gerrera, right?
So what we end up seeing is some pretty good mechanics, some familiar faces, a world that looks good.
Well, they're on Kashyyyk, right?
Yeah,
the Wookiee planet. Yeah,
Kashyyyk. Yeah, and it has a lot of good qualities, but I want to know more about this story, and I want to know more. I want to know more about the character. I want to know more about what we're doing, and I personally need to see more. I'm going in open-minded. I would say I was probably someone who, it was received mediocre. I wasn't 100% like amped up.
Well, you're neutral on it basically.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I don't
hate it and not sold.
Don't love it and I'm not sold.
Yep. That's fair.
So, I mean, they're like, I've had several people approach me. I've had people say, "Oh, this looks amazing to me," and I'm like, "Yeah, fair. I see why you think this is amazing, and why this could be really cool for you." And then I've had other people say, "This shit looks boring."
Yep.
And I'm like, I can see why you would say that.
See that. Yep.
It makes sense, and to me, I'm right down the middle. I can find redeeming qualities in every single video game I play.
I do. Like, I think part of the issue, and you've said this. Anybody that watched our live stream heard a lot of our kind of internal opinions on what some of our other preferred Star Wars games are and stuff. The Force Unleashed games are not games where you are driven by the world. They're games where you're driven entirely by the story and the action, right? There's one path to get to things. You typically are not. It's not Deus Ex where you have 15 different options to show up in a town, right?
Right.
Like you get there in one direction. You have to knock this thing down and force push it and walk over it. Then you have to swing on this vine. Then you have to kill these guys. Then you have to walk through the hallway. Like that's just how it is. They design it in a very particular way. There's, I think, some mechanical stuff that could use a little cleaning up. Some of the animations were a little jittery. Some of the textures, what'd you say? The shaders that show up on enemies when they get hit by you.
Yeah.
Were a little off, it looked like.
Yeah, it looks like, I wouldn't say they're off. I would say it just looks like they're...
could be better.
They need more work. You're not there yet. But what the player that was playing did... some of the stuff he did really highlighted what the game can do. I was like...
Yeah, a lot of the like force power combos.
Yeah, like while he was playing, I was going, oh man, he should do this, and then he would do it. And that's exciting. I love to see it.
Yeah, that happens several times. Actually, I would recommend people go back and watch our coverage of that because it really is like, as he's walking down the hallway, you're like, oh, he should shoot that droid at the guy, and then he does it.
Yeah.
Like, as you're saying it, he does it, which is amazing because you really can't ask for better than that, you know? It's
right.
Like, oh, if I was here, I would do this. And then the guy does it, and you're like, yeah, it works.
Yeah, I can't believe he did that. That's so exciting. And it happened like 3 times.
Yeah, that's that EA hype that we talk about, you know?
Yeah.
The enemies seem pretty smart, so it seems like they have some cool AI. Like, he's fighting, like, one of those... Like, it's a stormtrooper using the dual staff thing that we saw the droids use in Episode 3. If you pull him towards you with the Force... He'll swing it. He'll launch an attack on you. Like other enemies, you just pull them and you can kind of one shot them by you just like fucking yank them towards you and slice them in half, basically. This guy's prepared for that, so you're gonna have to have different moves on different units.
And I
saw some fucking numbnuts was comparing the game to Dark Souls combat, and it's like, no, you're high as hell.
Stop comparing stuff to Dark Souls.
Everything is not Dark Souls.
Yeah. But I do wonder if that force pull is going to work on those enemies after a certain point, or if you do a certain thing.
If you can buff it up to a certain point,
right? If you can stun them and pull them.
The thing that, like I said, the action really pulls these games along. You unlock skill points, and you can like customize some of your moves. It's really cool how he uses the force powers. It's not something that we see in the movies or that we've seen in other games. He kind of like it seems like he selects a power. We don't see anything on screen to necessarily tell you what he's doing. We don't see like press X to push, press Y to like come or whatever. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So he like sort of starts to use a force power. So he'll use like a pull. Time will kind of slow down. You'll lock onto an enemy, and then he'll start doing a maneuver, and then he'll like kind of pull his arm back, and it like locks the power that he's using in place. So then a second after he triggers it, it'll launch the pull, right? Which seems really cool. I was talking about that a lot, where it's like he seems like he's like locking different force powers in, like he's selecting them and then triggering them, which seems really cool.
Yeah, and I would like to see how that selection is happening. I feel like
I would really like to see how that happens.
I think they hid that from.
Yeah, they're hiding a weapon wheel or something.
Yeah,
but you know, that's to be expected of E3 demos for sure.
We've seen force push, we've seen force pull, we've seen
like the time
style. Yeah,
basically what
the middle of that.
Yeah, what the Kylo Ren does in the beginning of episode 7, I guess, where he like pauses the bolt in midair and then like walks around it. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
That seems really cool. And then we saw something else.
So what it has to do to like personally win me over, someone who's not won over, is
story.
Hit me with that story. Yeah.
Yep.
I want to see that story, and I want to see what a little bit more of development. I want to see how the character develops, and
skill trees.
I really want to see some of these animations, cleaned up, tightened up, and the small things that make a game go from good to great.
Right.
I want to see that.
That stuff has yet to be seen.
Yeah.
I think that. I want to see skill trees, and I want to see a little bit more story. They did say that this character is canonical to, not LucasArts, I guess, anymore, but just the Disney Star Wars franchise. Like this character is going to be in other media. They said that directly in the interview section that happened after the gameplay footage.
Yeah, this actor is
Cameron. Is that Cameron?
Yeah, it's
Monaghan?
Cameron something. Yeah, he played Jerome and Jerome's brother Jerome in Gotham, basically the Joker.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting that they, that it wasn't just some, guy, that they chose him. So they're definitely pulling him into something else for sure.
Right. He's probably going to appear as like a quick walk by in one of the movies or something.
Or I don't know.
Well, I don't know actually,
because they could go another direction. They have a lot of stuff that they haven't.
Pre-Rogue One era,
yeah.
But they have said like somebody basically the question was, can I choose between light and dark side? And they said no. He's a good guy. He is appearing canonically in other material, so we can't ruin that.
Yeah, he has. Well,
that was a mandate from Disney.
Yep. So he has to be a good guy. So you're
not those exact words. He is a good guy in this game.
You're not going to have...
We might be seeing him turn evil in the future.
Yeah, that's true. You're not going to have... This was fucked up. That bite to the neck.
Yeah, that
from the
fucked me.
spider.
I thought that was a death animation.
That would have been so cool if they just fucking killed him in the animation. But I hate that. It's
like Tomb Raider.
It's one of the things that just kind of pulled me out of it, is that spider wrapping him up. Every time he gets hit with...
instantly wrapped up.
You're instantly wrapped up. It's not around your feet. It didn't knock you back and stick you to the ground or do something like that. It just did that generic fucking I'm stuck. It's like,
which everybody in every game that's ever had a spider web does.
And it's like, that's the kind of thing that just like it.
Yeah, that's the thing about.
Roll my eyes a little bit.
That's the thing about it. Looks like this, and definitely the Force Unleashed games, is that they were very video gamey. It was not trying to make you think this was really happening. Right? It's not like Uncharted.
But that's kind of the point of these Star Wars, like the Star Wars universe, is to pull you out and make you think like,
I'm in a new place.
Yeah,
this is a real place.
Yeah, put me in this new world that is impossible for me to ever be in.
Right.
Until
that's kind of weird.
We colonize Mars.
Jesus God, I hope we don't.
Yeah,
think about how bad we fucked up one planet.
I'm glad we were going to the same place with that.
So yeah, we saw a little bit of the pre-order stuff, which I've definitely changed my tune on in the past. I used to pre-order everything because I wanted that extra content or whatever. That's definitely changed. But this is one I think, as we were talking about it, like, you're not 100% sold. I think I am 100% sold.
I do want to talk about this point real quick, where he pulls the guy and walks him in front of his own fucking shop.
Yeah, extremely good.
Just
this is something
slow clap.
Just good systems, you know?
Yeah.
Good systems in games that interact together. The bullets are real things.
They know.
The whole bullet has a hitbox, right?
Right.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like they know, like, okay, we've created this mechanic where, you know, we can stop time.
Yeah.
And we've created this pull and push mechanic. Let's use them together.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool stuff.
That's good.
There. Yeah, so looking at the pre-orders, if you pre-order the game at all, let's see, you get 4 digital cosmetic items. I honestly could not give a fuck. So they said it's 3 skins for Cal's lightsaber. So I believe it's an orange blade and then 2 alternate hilts. And then there's the BD1 skin, which is like a Bumblebee skin for, not Bumblebee the movie, but Bumblebee the animal. Like a yellow and black skin for your little robot guy, which I love.
Yep.
The special edition.
There's a crimson one as well.
Yeah, the deluxe edition, that's the one that comes with, it's extra $10 and includes the crimson skin. It includes a crimson skin for your weapon. It's called the Crimson Mantis skin. That's kind of sounds.
It has like a spike that sticks off the hilt.
Yeah. Right? And then it also, I can't super tell what's going on with that. I'd have to see it in game to know. Because I don't understand how his hand is going to maneuver around that. You know?
Right.
And then it also comes with a digital art book and a collection of director's cut behind the scenes features. So we can see in the deluxe edition image here that we're looking at, you see the 4 things that you get for any pre-order on top, and then the 4 things that you get with the deluxe $10 edition on the bottom.
Right.
I don't see the collector's edition happening.
Collector's edition, give them a small art book that fits inside the case.
Really?
I think that would sell me to spend $10 more for 2 skins, a little art book that's in the case.
2 skins?
It's 2 skins, man.
Really? Yeah.
Get out.
That's got me fucked up, honestly.
Yeah. And it's not even something cool like a blade change color.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's cool. Like, I don't know what colors we're going to be working with. I imagine we'll have definitely blue and green.
Mm-hmm.
And now orange. I don't know if they'll give us purple. I definitely don't see them giving us red.
Right.
Who had yellow? Did anyone ever have yellow? People had yellow, right?
Yeah, yellow exists canonically in Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Sentinel, like the heavy Force users, I think, usually have yellow.
Yeah.
But it's kind of odd.
And the thing that got me about the show is how hard it was to get them excited for their own product. It felt like it didn't feel like they were excited for their product. They're like Greg would say, "Okay, what about this?" And then they would be like, "Oh yeah, this is what it is." He's like, "That's exciting, right?" And then they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm really excited for it."
What, for like the skins and stuff?
No, just the product in general, just the game, Star Wars Jedi.
I think they probably got 2 bad people to represent it. These guys are both like highly autistic.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
they're both really reserved guys and everything.
I don't think I would be great on stage for something like that. Like, to represent something that I've been toiling over for a number of, months. I don't know. What is that? I don't know how long this game's been in development.
I think that was just a bad call on who to put forward for
that. I think so too. Yeah.
They were super laid back.
And that's fine. It's fine to have one person that's laid back, but have the other person be animated. If you're going to send 2 people out to represent your company.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It looks fine. I think that's my final take from this for me. It looks fine. The world looks really cool. I was excited to see. We saw a vast look at just these different environments. Not even different environments, but we did see the lush greenery. We saw the metal interiors. I would just like to see a few things tightened up. World looks fine though, I think.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, dig into what we're talking about for yourself. But this is going to be a very like unique, like person to person, whether you're into it or not. So
did you see that back there? Right here where we were. He swings across that vine. He beats up those like 3 guys, and there's a 4th one on the ledge shooting. There's a fucking big hole in the wall or in the vines right there, right?
Cave. There's definitely a cave behind him.
And he goes, "Nope, go ahead, robot, do your thing." And
they really didn't show a lot of. They show him. There's a spot where you can like scan one of those big spiders.
Yeah,
he doesn't do that. And then there's another spot where you see a second one of those echoes. It looks like, and he doesn't do anything with that either. So I think they're not wanting to give away what all of that special stuff is yet.
But if you're gonna show it, show it. If you're gonna literally show something that says scan.
Yeah, just hide the scan button.
Hide the scan button.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're making this video, like, even if you're making the video and you're like, we're going to play it live, like, remove that from the thing you're going to play.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck.
They did it really weirdly there.
It was very odd. So, aside from Star Wars is obviously the big dick thing here, which is weird on them leading with that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's something you would save for the end, right?
I would put it in the middle to make people watch all of it.
Yeah, man.
I'm out here trying to make some motherfucking money, though. So I don't know what they're doing.
So next, they talked a little bit about Apex. Specifically, Season 2 and when it starts. It does start July 2nd, so it's coming up pretty soon. The season's called Battle Charge, I guess. And the new season will bring, of course, the new ranked division that'll allow us to start from like 0 and build our way back up. A new weapon, which I can't remember what the weapon's called. We looked at it. It looks kind of like a battle rifle. The 10th legend herself, Watson, and as well, changes coming to Kings Canyon, which is something that we kind of talked about when the game launched. The question was, are we going to see changes to this place called Kings Canyon, or are we going to get different arenas in general? And they went with changes. And then small gameplay tweaks. So we'll start with Watson. Watson is, set within lore. She's a defensive hero, the daughter of the man who created the ring himself. And Respawn describes her as the Legend's kid sister because she's been in the arena forever. Everybody gets along with her because she was a little kid that ran around in the arena while they were making the arena.
Everybody loved her, basically.
Yeah.
She's like a mascot.
She has a few powers. Her passive ability is immediately use an accelerant to get access to her ultimate, which is cool because a lot of people who would play Lifeline would always carry around these accelerants to immediately get access to the ultimate. It's her passive ability. If you're carrying them, she'll immediately use it. Her tactical creates electric fences that she can place up to 12 nodes in total. And you can place them wherever you want. The fences don't hurt teammates. Enemies who cross the fence will be pinged. So your entire squad knows where they are. Her ultimate is an interception pylon. Shoots down projectiles, charges, and shoots down projectiles and other different damage-causing things that could be coming in. It also charges the squad's shield. And it allows her to build electrical fence fortresses quickly. So I think it just buffs her tactical ability. Yeah. The new weapon did apparently leak a while back. It's the L-Star, rapid-firing energy weapon capable of dealing a ton of damage.
Originally from Titanfall 2.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Map changes. A small tease that the Apex Legends section showcased Watson flying next to some massive eyeball, a supposedly winged creature. So this is going to be really no different than how Fortnite changes their bullshit.
Did you say fart knife?
Fart knife. Grab the knife, fart on it. There it is.
Great. That's what I do.
So, I imagine whatever this thing is going to fuck up some places and we'll see some change, which is fun. I always love seeing that. It always makes me want to go back to Fortnite too, to be honest. And then, of course, ranked mode. It debuts a new mode called Rank 1.0, and players will be matched by skill as they compete to reach the top of 6 individual tiers: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, and Apex Predator, earning exclusive cosmetics and rewards at the end of each season based on where they're located.
That sounds pretty cool.
That's cool. I love that. This is straight up. That's just fan service on making the fan and the player. It gives them more of a reason. Like, why do I give a shit if I'm ranked number 1 in the silver tier? Like, what is that going to do for me? Oh, I get a skin for being number 1, where only the number 1 person in that tier will get.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's real cool.
I agree.
So, there's other things that are being implemented, including buff. Like it says, includes buffs for the often criticized Mozambique to make it, quote, useful. The fucking Mozambique is a 3-round handgun that shoots shotgun shells.
Nice.
And it's garbage. It's everywhere. Everyone hates it. It's the gun you pick up when you're like, shit, I just landed in an area with 20 other people and this is all I have.
Yeah.
But, if you've never got into Apex, it does something different. It makes you want to play. If you're a fan of any sort of shooting game at all, it makes you want to play it more because just the way it presents itself. Oh, I just figured out that I got this attachment and this attachment works well with this gun. I just figured that out. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it changes how you play, and you get new enjoyment out of something that you already were getting a lot of enjoyment out of.
And when you pull in different friends that have that same thing, like, this doesn't work for you, but it does work for me. I'm not into sniping from a distance, but I'll run in there full speed with this big gun and let you kill the people that are flanking me. And the strategy is very different than something like Fortnite, where it's just try to squat up and watch each other's back. So this is very much like Overwatch meets Fortnite. Yeah, and that's good. There's room for that, and that's why it's doing so well for sure. So continuing to go down the old rabbit hole. Here's 2 things that we didn't really even care about. We were actually gone before this.
We're actually 3 things.
Well, one of them I know at least is
slightly interesting.
But these next 2 I can.
Yep. So
I'll sleep through.
Yeah, they released a bunch of details for FIFA 20 and Madden 20. So let's see. FIFA, they talked about the new additions and what you get for the pre-orders.
Yep.
Addition to that, you'll get a trial.
They talked about this Volta.
Oh, the Volta mode. Yeah, it's
Volta mode.
Basically FIFA Street.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of people talking about that. My buddy, actually, who we talked to last time, Aaron, last E3, he was talking about that a lot. So he's apparently pretty excited for the Street mode.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's it. It's a cool thing. I think they could really do some good stuff by putting more of these street style things into these sports games.
Just as an extra mode.
Yeah, an extra mode of a street style, or an extra mode of Madden Blitz. You know what I mean? Where it's no rules and let's fuck up the other team. Let's see what we can do.
Right. I think everybody's pretty much universally into that.
Yeah, definitely. That's fun. But, they seem to keep leaving that out. I'm glad to see someone, one of these games, is putting that in.
Yep.
So I guess here's more to that.
For sure.
And then, I don't want to spend too much time on this because this is not our thing. We're not the person that you should be listening to about this, for sure.
Correct.
Madden 20 details. I honestly didn't look into anything at all.
Yes, basically, there's another new career campaign called Face of the Franchise. We create a college player, and then you get drafted into specifically as a quarterback for the Texas Longhorns college football playoffs that leads to NFL draft sequence. And then there's ultimate missions, and there's dynamic challenges and quests. Madden 20 will also feature evolving playbooks. The biggest change is the Superstar X Factor. This acts as a special hero-like perk for star players. So they're kind of adding some sort of RPG elements almost.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a closed beta from June 14th to 16th, and there's new accessibility options. So text-to-speech and speech-to-text options, narration enhancements, and things like that. So basically, just like we talk about the normal like quality of life upgrades that you have to do for a game that lasts for every year for 1,000 years. So.
Yeah. So if that's your thing for sure. And then something that we like a little more than the last. I wouldn't say a lot, but
sure. Battlefield 5.
Yeah, Battlefield 5, which actually took place right after Apex, and then it went, I think, FIFA, Madden, and capped off. So after some feedback, there's 2 major updates for the game's multiplayer. Online max rank, previously capped at 50, is going to increase to 500. God damn, that's big. Implemented in August. Also discusses private games, allowing players to host their own multiplayer lobbies, which is good. That should have been in there since day one, I imagine. As well, there's new maps coming up for Chapter 4, which were revealed. Martha takes place small rural. That is a hard word to say a little bit.
Go ahead.
Rural. Did I get it? Is that it?
No, absolutely not.
Hit me with it.
A rural.
I can't do that.
Rural. I started Shannon do it in the background. Just fucked me up.
Hell yeah. Thank you. It's a mountainous region of Greece. So it's going to be pretty much close quarters.
That's cool.
Yeah, close quarters infantry combat. Al Sedan. It would be Sedan. That's Americanized.
This is all fucked up.
It would be Sedan, right?
Did you say Saddam?
Yeah.
Damn, the fucking Arab gamer has entered the chat.
It's a map set in North Africa. And it's supposed to be like huge, so we're talking like the standard Battlefield map you could imagine. And these are going to be releasing with Chapter 4 day 1, June 27th. The Martyr will be later in July. The third map described as a reimagine of Battlefield 3's Operation Metro is set to release in October. 2 other maps were teased, one being a Nordic countryside, the other being a province of France. No release date on those, of course. So Chapter 4 is, supposed to be rapidly approaching. EA Play also teased what's coming for Battlefield 5 with Chapter 5. So it's like finish this candy bar before you open another. But Chapter 5 will be bringing the Pacific to Pacific Theater to multiplayer. Bring 3 new maps, including Iwo Jima, this fall. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, Battlefield 5 is available. Of course, you can grab it now and jump into. I believe they're running through some stuff for Chapter 4. I haven't been keeping up with it, but I do know the game looks good. It's one of those games without like having other people to play with. It's like, what's the point? Why am I even looking at it?
Essentially unplayable by yourself. Yeah.
Right. And I'll let you guys take the last piece.
Yeah, so finally we had the Sims 4 sort of couple little reveals and, a big expansion, a little content pack, and then a look to the future. So the first, the expansion pack is island living. So you're going to basically it's a vacation destination. You are able to live there, so it is just a new town as well. It's adding in some new things: jobs, wildlife, build mode, fashion, hobbies, behaviors, party themes, and mythical creature options of mermaids. You can hang out with dolphins. You can be a conservationist where you like pick up trash. The island will alter based on how you treat it. So if you're like littering on the beach all the time, the island will get all fucked up.
Don't be a dick.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully the like mermaids will lead like a armed rebellion and like kill all the humans on the island and clean it up. That'd be cool. Hopefully that happens in real life. So along with that, they are saying there's going to be some more Polynesian themed additions to items for your tropical home of your dreams. You can live directly on the coast, where you can actually build a oversea deck, and you can dive from the deck directly into the water, which is really cool. You can go up in the hills, so kind of a more like laid back, like chilled out jungle island theme. And then you can also go live near an active volcano, which is dope. I'm going to build right over the lava. Just no fucking
Nothing could ever go wrong with that, right?
I have to get new stilts installed in my house every 3 days because it's slowly sinking into the lava. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So there's new tropical living world includes alcoves, new types of death for your Sims, new woohoo areas.
Woohoo! Okay.
Kava parties and traditional barbecues. So additional
Let's go
stuff.
back to the woohoo areas.
Excuse me? So you can woohoo in the volcano, I hear. It's a really quick... It's one of those things where, like, to nut or not to nut.
That is the question. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, is this not worth my death? The answer is yes.
And the answer is yes. Definitely yes.
Always yes. So, yeah, they're also adding in the new Moschino Stuff Pack, which includes fan-inspired fashion, as well as a new career as a fashion photographer. And there's also going to be a free DLC pack that has, like, Pride Month inspired clothing and gender neutral bathrooms. I think that's kind of a weird one because every Sims house has a gender neutral bathroom, which is the fucking bathroom that everyone uses in the house. It's called the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I guess that's just in public places. They used to have split gendered bathrooms, I guess. I don't know. So that Pride update comes for free on June 18th. The other updates, like the Moschino Stuff Pack, is coming this fall. The Island Living expansion is June 21st. So we probably will not announce that again, just because it's just an expansion pack. We usually try not to talk too much about those. And they did also announce probably one of the last big expansion packs, although this one has already lived a lot longer than I was expecting. Realm of Magic. Other than the name, that was all the info we got, but we can imagine this is going to be kind of like the Making Magic expansions in the past with like just new spells and potions and witchy themed shit.
Sure.
Should be a pretty big seller, I imagine, because those are always super popular.
So, with this on the floor, I believe we're going to be probably moving on after this into, whatever the Sims plans on doing.
Sims 5.
Next, Sims 5 or, whatever direction they end up going.
Yeah.
I always feel weird by just assuming the next thing they're going to do is just Sims 5.
Yeah, I can see them doing something different. And making a more games as a service
to do something different, just to kind of draw.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I was just actually talking about. Where I'm shocked that they haven't made like a Sims MMO. Like there is the Sims Online, but that just didn't take off.
Right. And I don't know how that didn't take off. The people who play this are constant. So
right.
If they just kind of migrated to a similar server or something to hang out.
I could really see EA trying to do the next Sims as a game as service, because this is sort of an old model, right? It's you release a base game and then you release content packs consistently, and you make money on the content packs, right?
Right.
That's sort of an old-fashioned way to do it. I mean, that's how Mass Effect and the original Dragon Age 2, that's how those games were designed, and that doesn't fly anymore with EA. So I'm kind of surprised that they don't have like a Sims Forever or something like that. So that might be the next thing we see. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I like the self-controlled version that you can just add in whatever mods you want in your own game. Get only the expansion packs you're interested in. But I could see them going that way in the future.
Like I don't see why it's a big deal to like why they can't put people in this map or whatever.
Yeah, which other players like make zones where you have instances of multiplayer.
Yeah, like and why they can't have like you having just the core game and someone having literally everything that exists in general, why you can't, you know, deal with your own stuff and also see their stuff that is like the enhanced junk. Like that's an item seller, wouldn't it? Going into someone's house and going, oh shit, look at all this cool stuff they have.
Yep.
I want that for my house. And then going into the store and just dropping it in, buying it. Huh.
Yeah.
They don't do that?
Not that I know of.
Man, they really should, huh?
Yeah.
That's an idea. Tell them to get a hold of me. We do. That's fucked up. We do know someone.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty much all we had planned for the regular show. We were talking a little bit on what to expect from what we're going to be going into here in a couple hours. We're gonna get settled up at about 3:30. We're gonna take a short break, grab some food, and prepare for the Microsoft Xbox showcase. And some of the things to just expect. The first thing that they show here talking about is xCloud. It's their thing that they said we'll have more to say on that later. So I think this is going to have to do with them teaming up with Sony, or Sony teaming up with Microsoft with that Azure technology.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's something. It's kind of weird. Next gen Xbox, I don't know. But definitely expect to see some games. I think they said they have 14 first party games that they want to talk about. As well, they, like some of the big things that we'll probably hear about. The Playground Games is supposed to be working on a Fable series. We'll probably hear some games, or Gears 5. Of course, I mentioned Halo. In Exile is working on Wasteland 3, which is going to be fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
There's something Battletoads in the works, if I remember right.
Yeah, when's Battletoads coming out on the Wii?
The next game from Ninja Theory has leaked. Then they have some third-party stuff too, which could include Dying Light 2, Call of Duty, depending on if they go that route. And then Games Pass, they're going to be talking about that, all the mergers that are happening with that during the presentation. So just kind of wanted to prep people for what we're looking at there. We also have the Bethesda E3 showcase, which is largely shown off at this Polygon article that we were looking at, and we can expect. Obviously, we talked a little bit in the pre-show. I think Shinji Mikami, Doom Eternal. Are we going to see something from Elder Scroll, or are we going to see something from Starfield?
Hopefully, Starfield.
I would hope to see a lot from Starfield, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
they've said that Starfield is the next game. We're gonna have to wait a while on Elder Scrolls 6. So,
but the question is, are we going to see? Are they at least going to give us this is where we're playing for Elder Scrolls?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I mean, we saw a brief flyover. That's what we saw last year. And they've had a year to work on it. And you imagine they narrowed down where we're going to be playing at. And Starfield, we just need something for it. We've got literally really nothing. All right?
Yeah.
So, just something that, that we're going to be streaming after the live show here. As it's Sunday, you guys will be listening to this podcast on Monday. So expect, if you want more of this, head over to our Facebook, head over to our Twitter. You can check that stuff out over at facebook.com/Mammoth Games Inc. as well at Mammoth Games Inc. on Twitter. We'll be patrolling those if you guys happen to miss our live show. Go read back, chat with us about it. Even if the show's over, we'll still be out there chatting about it. But thank you guys for joining us for our 100th episode here. Do you have anything else that you want to throw in for our 100th episode?
Yeah. I mean, we've done a couple interviews here and there, so we've actually got over 100. But I think we're gonna be able to hit 100 more, no problem.
Yeah, yeah. And we've got some cool stuff in the future. So stick with us here. Hopefully, some new ways for you guys to interact. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Until next time, I am Night Swarm.
And I'm Filter Cord.
Have a good one.